Well, of course, you'll have seen President Cyril Ramaphosa engaging the parliamentary press gallery. Our Politics Editor Sbu Ngalwa was there. Sbu, good evening to you. Thanks for your time on the Pulse tonight. Well, many different issues to talk about coming out of what the President said. But we have to start with the Health Minister, Dr. William Kize.
Of course, Stephen, that was always going to be the one topic that dominates discussions here, given the importance of the department and also how the centrality of the health minister in terms of our vaccine rollout. But obviously the president, it looks like he was prepared for that question. But I do not think, though, South Africans and all those who have been asking questions will be satisfied with that response, because he pretty much repeated what he said yesterday, which is that he is concerned, he's disturbed by the allegations, and that he is investigating, that investigations are underway, and that he is waiting for those to be concluded. And of course, Stephen, I proceeded to ask him about how that very scandal, how if he's not concerned about, if it does not taint the whole vaccine rollout program and also the integrity of his government. Well, he did respond to say that he does not believe that it taints his government, but he did, I must say, hint a bit about the fact that the health minister is not the only person who is driving the vaccine rollout, mentioning that the interministerial committee headed by the deputy president, Didi Mabuza, is the one that is leading that process. And also he made a mention of the deputy minister of health, saying that he is also there as part of that vaccine rollout, I guess in a way without being explicit, saying that the whole process does not hinge on one person, Stephen.
And then, Sbu, obviously other conversations, particularly around land at the beginning of the press conference. That's because of a parliamentary process around Section 25, Clause 25 of the Constitution that's going through the process right now. The President defending the ANC's policy that people would get land tenure, they would own it, rather than the EFF policy of the state owning all of the land.
Look, obviously, Stephen, I don't think that we would have expected the president to take a different view to that of the ANC. In fact, I think also coming out from the ANC's, even going back to 2017 when he won at Nasrec, he has pretty much kept on to that line and emphasizing, I mean, to the annoyance of some quarters about how emphatic he has been about the issue of land reform and how it needs to be done in a meaningful manner that benefits all South Africans. So I do not believe that he was going to take a different path in that regard. And also, I guess the issue is important once again, knowing that Parliament is still seized with that very process, and we do know that there were those public hearings in the provinces towards the end of last year, and that Parliament is edging closer to concluding that business, Stephen.
And then, of course, electricity. We have to talk about Eskom and electricity. We're in stage 2 load shedding right now. We'll be again tomorrow until around 10 o'clock. There's a big fight, it seems, between much of business and the Energy Minister, Gwede Mantashe, around the issue of embedded generation. The Minister wants a 10-megawatt cap. Business, Kasatu, they want a 50-megawatt cap. And then, of course, Eskom generally. What did the President say about that?
I think in addition to what you've just mentioned, Stephen, I think what was also important, and I actually think most people probably didn't pick it up, it was actually the vociferous vote of confidence, the President expressing his vote of confidence in the leadership of Andrew de Ruyter as the CEO of Eskom, saying that he's a capable business leader who's leading the process, and saying that he believes that Andrew de Ruyter and the management team at Eskom are leading Eskom in the right direction. Now, given the controversy of the past few days, remember, there were those allegations of racism against Andrew de Ruyter, and also we do know that there was an internal investigation initiated by the board, and he was cleared by that. And I think the timing of the President's comments coming soon after that, the conclusion of that very investigation, clearing Andrew de Ruyter, was actually quite telling in terms of what he believes to be at play at Eskom, because you would recall that when the whole storm erupted, there was a lot of clamor that came from various quarters, including the Black Management Forum at the time. So I do think that and when he was asked the question about Eskom, he pretty much did say that he believes that the current leadership is steering the ship in the right direction. He may not have the date, and I do know that South African Zafra stated, given the fact that we've had about 60 hours of continuous rollouts, and the Eskom issue is one that refuses to die down. But I think the president also stressed that some of the issues that we're currently seeing at Eskom are not so much management or operational issues, but rather they have to do with an old network and which continues to fail. And I think that was the point that he emphasized there, Stephen.
And then, Sbu, I mean, there's been a lot of pressure, a lot of demands for him from an organization called the South African National Editors Forum. I think you know it. I think you're the chairman of it. For the president to have a press conference. Now he's done it. Are you satisfied?
Look, Stephen, I think the reality is that it's always important to have leadership accountable and have leadership available, particularly the president as an elected public representative and also as the #1 citizen in the country, to be seen to be responsive to not just the issues raised by journalists, but also to be seen to be transparent to journalists. And you would know, Stephen, that over the past year or so, we've only been we've gotten accustomed to seeing the president only during those addresses to the nation in relation to the COVID-19 response. And I do think that part of today's event had to do with some of the criticism that was leveled against the president and the presidency. As you would recall that about a week or so ago, he did give an interview to an international news agency during his visit to France, and I think this was partly a response to that. But I think from ourselves as the South African media, we actually, even after the interaction with the president, we did during the chat emphasize that it would be important to have him do this regularly to answer questions from journalists and not just from ourselves as the South African National Editors Forum. And I think this is this is a good start, and obviously the only time we can be able to measure it is the consistency, and I think that's what would be important. Yes, Stephen.
Sbu Ngalwa, our politics editor, thanks very much indeed. Do appreciate it. Live, of course, from the presidential press conference that's literally just wrapping up. Time now.